Welcome to Lesson 2.5, Solving Multi-Step Equations Notes. Please make sure you have these notes in front of you. So for this chart, we're going to explore what makes no solution, what makes a one solution, and what makes infinitely many solutions. So the first one that we're going to look at is no solution. So for no solution, basically for the symbols, A equals to B. So A equals to B, they're not the same letter, which means that they have to be different numbers. And so basically, usually if they're equal to each other, it'd be like A equals to a number or A equals to A. But A equals to B, which means they are not the same. So let's look at an example. 3x plus 4 equals to 3x. Now, in order to solve this two-step equation, I would go ahead and subtract 3x on both sides. Then we be left with 4 equals to 0. Now we do know that 4 does not equal to 0. So since it does not equal to 0, this two-step equation has no solution. All right, so for the next one, we're going to explore what makes up things with one solution. So the symbols that we're going to use is x equals to some number, okay? X being just the unknown. So if we look at the next example, it's 2x equals to 20. Now if I divide both sides by 2, my answer is going to be x equals to 10. That means there's only one solution that can fit into this problem, and it's 10. So therefore, since x equals to 10, there is only one solution. No other number will work with this two-step equation. Our last one is infinitely many solution. So some symbols would be if A equals to A, meaning if we get the same thing on one side equal to the other side. So looking at our example, we have 4x plus 2 equals to 4x plus 2. If we subtract 4x on both sides, we're going to be left with 2 equals to 2. Now, since 2 equals to 2, the solution is going to be infinitely many solutions, or all solutions. So that means that all numbers would work in this problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply our knowledge of solutions to our first problem. Solve 6 parentheses x minus 3 plus 10 equals to 2 parentheses 3x minus 4. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to use the distributive property. So let's write in distributive property. So we're going to come over here and we're going to draw our arrows. And 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. That plus 10 is not part of the distributive property, so we're going to leave it alone. It's only the numbers that are on the inside. Now on the other side, we're going to also apply the distributive property. So 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. All right, step 2, we're going to see if we can combine any like terms. All right, so we're going to look at the left side. I have a 6x, I have a negative 18 plus 10. Now the 6x cannot be put with anything on the left side, but I do know that the negative 18 and the 10 can be put together because they're both integers. So I'm going to leave the 6x, and negative 18 plus 10 is going to give me negative 8. Now the other side, I only see one x and I only see one integer. There's nothing I can really combine here, so I'm just going to leave that the same. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to subtract 6x from each side. And that would be the subtraction property of equality. All right, so the 6x's, they cancel out, and I get negative 8 equals to negative 8. Now I'm going to refer to the chart above, and I can see that this is going to give me infinitely many solutions. So I'm going to come down here. It says, look at your solution. Is this a no solution, one solution, or infinitely many solutions? Circle 1. So I'm going to go ahead and circle infinitely many solutions. All right, so let's go ahead and solve number 2. And I want you to use the same steps that you were using in step 1. The addition and subtraction property of inequality, you'll just have to apply it wherever you see fit. So the first step, what we're going to do is we're going to do distributive property. Now remember that you only distribute to the ones that are in the parentheses. All right, so our first one is 8 times 4, which is going to give us 32. 8 times negative 2 is going to give us negative 16x. 4 times 3 is going to give us 12. 4 times negative 5 is going to give you minus 20x. And that plus 4x, that was not in the parentheses, so I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to try to multiply 4 to it. All right, so let's keep going. Our second step is to combine like terms. I'm going to look at the left side. I don't see any other x's and I don't see any other integers, so I'm just going to copy it down. There's nothing to be combined here. On the right side, I see that there are 2 x's, so I know I have to combine those. However, there's only one integer, so that one's just going to stay put. All right, so negative 20 plus 4, that's going to give me negative 16x. All right, so right now I want to take care of my x's. I want to move them over. So they're both negative 16x, so it doesn't matter which one you move over. I'm going to go ahead and move this one here. If you move the other one, it really doesn't matter. On the left side, the 16x's cancel out, and I get 32 equals. And on the right side, my 16's cancel out as well, and I get 12. Now, if I look at this, 32 does not equal to 12. And if I look at my chart, if that does not equal to 12, I'm going to come down here, and it says, is your answer no solution, one solution, or infinitely many solutions? There is no solution because the 2 answers don't equal to each other. All right, so for the last one, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this just so it's a little bit bigger. It's a little small on my paper. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is distributive property. Okay, so 15 times 20, that's going to give me 300. Then I'm going to do 15 times d, that's going to give me 15d. I'm going to bring the 420 down on the right side. Then what I see in front of me is a 2-step equation. I'm going to take care of the 300 first. The 300 is a positive. I want to do the opposite, which is a negative. And what I do to one side, I have to do the other side because remember, equations have to be balanced. The 300s cancel, and I get 15d equals to 120. All right, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to divide both sides by 15. And I'm going to get d equals to 8. Now, if you want to see if you did it right, let's go ahead and check it. In place of d, I'm going to plug in 8. I'm going to go ahead and do what's in our grouping symbols, which is 28. And 15 times 28 does equal to 420. All right, so we know that d equals to 8. Now we're going to go ahead and answer the question below. And the question being, is your answer no solution, one solution, or infinitely many? Well, if we only have one number that we can plug into this solution to make it work, so that would be the one solution right over there.